a little bit more, it'll be a little more strat heavy. But for now, we will kick things off on one of the maps that we all know and possibly love. I mean, I don't really like it myself, but yes, the players do seem to love it, and yeah, we're getting Rush.
Yeah, knife round's not going to be too consequential. I would like to see actually the team that wins it, which is looking like the Expendables at the moment. Take the T side actually to start things off with. So, kind of just an important thing to note. The entire roster here for the Expendables is the same as Bren from about a year ago, except for AZ. I do believe Wits used to be in the lineup over here. Even, I can't remember if it was... No, I do feel like this is actually the exact same lineup for Bren for CS. But they do blur together sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, well, at least what's for sure, right, is the fact that they have a very strong core, right? No matter what, I mean, these players, I mean, sometimes it's just the fact that they've played together for so long, right? You've got the veterans in the scene as well, someone like Papi Chulo, right? Just the wealth of experience that he brings, right? There is likely no situation whereby he hasn't encountered before. I mean, of course, at Counter-Strike, there's a million different possibilities, but a lot of them, you have to draw on your experiences from the past, right? And for younger players, that's normally where they struggle with, like the reactions in the mid-rounds and based on how your opponents are playing. You give it to a guy like Papi Chulo, he's going to give you the right call 90% of the time.
I mean, I was going to say as well, like building on top of that, it's the confidence because you're going to go as, say, for example, like Papi Chulo, like what hasn't he done? He's already gone and played LAN and dropped 40 on LAN against like solid Asian teams. When you're looking at other like Asian competitions, he's done it all at this stage. So he's going to look at this one and just go, excellent. I wish this was on HLTV. We always talk about stat farming. He's going to be a bit sad. It's not going to go to his HLTV stats. You know what? If he's farming up a bit of kills, he's farming up a bit of extra cash to put in his bank account, he's never going to be upset over here on the A side anchor.
Well,
100 ping just going to go for the A site, execute pretty much straight out. 2 smokes, so you're going to say they're going to go towards jungle as well as stairs. Flashes into CD to fight it, and Papi Chulo just needs to bail out.
So it's a standard retake setup, but he's going to stick around in the ticket because he's not being put under that much pressure, right? You can see the gap between the entries for 100p, not exactly on point, but Expendables, this should be a pistol round that they've seen before. It should be something that they have rehearsed against. Where do they decide to retake from? Still just holding the ground in CT, waiting for 100p just overextend, and Terry able to find one in return, but Derek 9 as well as Pro trying to hunt him down. Yep, now it's 1 on 3 for Justin.
He's got a beat of 50, so this is the gun that you probably want in this distance. Problem is, though, there is a kit. There's a lot of CTs going to be covering off. You can see, I mean, Justin trying to take this fight. Derek will be able just to cover off his teammate as well. He actually lands a kill at the end of the day. And this is the difference between maybe like a team, say for 100 ping, where they go, all right, we've got the flashbangs onto site. We're going to go fight CT. We've taken out one player. The difference between a very strong team and probably just like a middling team is that the middling team doesn't actually have the extra flashbang to help fight or doesn't have that off timing. Expendables, you can see they're waiting for that play, and 100 ping aren't swinging on the back of any flashbangs. It's not the case of like the last game between Hot Sai as well as Zigmob, where we saw maybe the flash timing is off. There just wasn't a flashbang. You're going in for a dry peek, and that's never going to work against some of these members from the Expendables. Looks like it's going to be an A-site take once again. Papi Chulo going to be tested out. Doesn't really have the assistance from AZ with the M4 just yet. But out comes the smoke and flashbang. Here we go.
So just must pop out of Palace, and they are able to find the opener onto Papi Chulo, as we mentioned. Although Expendables, they should be able to retake this pretty comfortably. Still Pro, though, is incredibly low. Although it's just the Glocks, right? So at the end of the day, 100p, you should still be giving this up. Expendables, though, slowly approaching for the retake. Terry with a big kill needs to fall back, right? More he tries to stay and fight over Darkest.
They need to actually save on the side of the Expendables. I don't think, unless AZ can sneak a couple of kills over here.
You know where the players are.
Yep. But time's starting to tick away, so Dark, wow. Peter 50, no armors, had a hell of an impact. Should be able to clean this one up as well. Should be no time whatsoever.
Wow.
Even if there was time, that's a big victory for 100 ping. Expendables not really reading into that correctly. Definitely getting caught off guard by the force buy. That's the only reason why I would say Papi Chulo is playing so aggressively underneath balcony. Completely isolated, not having any crossfire potential. That's maybe a bit of overconfidence from the Expendables being punished, but they're going to be back onto the force by themselves at 100 ping. Nice little start for them.
Yeah, small mistake from the Expendables, and yeah, I think this is testament to the fact that maybe they aren't necessarily warmed up just yet. 100p look as though they're intent on the B rush. Yeah, just lining up the utility. They're going to be head making their way in. It's only Michael here to Deagle to receive. Closest point of contact is Pro at shot, so it's going to be a little bit far away and isolated. In fact, he's in the underpass, Pro. Ooh, Terry. and should be aware. And now 100p. The rotations have arrived for Expendables, looking to make the round just a little bit more expensive, but should be nothing to write home about unless Papi Chulo wants to
Wow.
give us a reminder of name.
Oh, he's already struck once.
Ooh.
Actually strikes twice as well. And now the pistols are starting to get pretty expensive. Even though it's
What?
down, the damage has been done already. AZ's pretty sharp. Where has this kid come from? Just pops off a couple ahead with the USPs, and just like that, Faber's return 3 on 4. Papachulo punishes any overpeaks coming out from the 100 ping players. And AZ is just able to clean up.
Stick movement as well. Well, he's definitely warmed up. The newest addition to the core. And Expendables. There was just a couple of deagles and Ezzy with just the USP. He was saving up for the AWP, expecting to get it out in round number 5. But instead, he's able to get it out a round earlier, courtesy of him as well as Papi Chulo, right? 2 kills from the market position. That second shot was quite disgusting, right? Just before he went down, he took another with him. And I think he's learned from his mistakes, right? Playing a little bit safer now. He's got a teammate in support. Ooh, they're out.
Yeah, oh, that's a nice little shot. It's not the first time he's practiced that. But it should be fast enough rotations, enough delay utility that surely... I was going to say for Banana, there was no need to be swinging that with no flashbang. There's also this pressure coming out. Yeah, pressure coming out from the lurk. Terry should have been good for 2 there, but unlucky he's only able to pick off 1. I don't really like this at the moment for 100 ping. The problem is with this approach, the smokes have, well, completely missed the mark firstly. And secondly, there's no flashbangs to cover a couple of individual peaks. You can get away, once again, against lower tier teams, but when you got people that are farming stats at the moment, like AZ, who's just not missing a shot.
Yeah. I mean, you've got 2 options, right? You either use your flashbangs or you throw bodies at the problem, right? Double peeking, triple peeking, but what they ended up doing is just 1 by 1, and against Azzy, especially after what happened in round number 3, it's not going to work out at all, right? Micro is playing with his food, right? He knows Azzy's not gonna miss. He doesn't need to take a shot because Azzy's got that angle down every single day.
It's just your basic contact play, and I like seeing it come out. There's no over-aggression at that stage. It's, alright, we peek to see where we can find some information. You see Micro's just dancing around, just shoulder peeking the angle, keeping the T interested. Eventually, Terry has to make a move. And there are so many angles to check. The AWPer could have rotated back to CT in that entire time, could still be on the same jungle angle. So you decide to go in for a peek. Even if you do manage to win that deal, then you have to immediately swivel around because Micro is going to swing out. So your basic structural play is working out. So Expendables looking like they should just farm up in this one.
Yeah, through the smoke as well. There's going to be quite a bit of information being gained, right? Because if you're able to get players just spraying through something like that, it should be a sign that there's a couple more, which is why Derek is feeling a little bit thirsty for the eco frags, and he will just farm up as well, getting himself closer to Aziz, but definitely the AWPer leading the charge. And if the AWP's going to be sharp, it can be a huge form of mirage, right? If Aziz feeling confident, he's rotating around the map, quite freely. Expendables, I think they do offer him that space, right? Sometimes you will see him opting towards B, sometimes you see him playing retake A, sometimes in towards middle. And 100p, if you have to account for so many different angles, it's a huge problem to have to solve.
Look, they're going to go back to the A site, which I don't mind necessarily, but the issue is there hasn't been enough of a... This is a very one-dimensional take from 100 ping. When you look at teams that play Mirage and how they play Mirage and how they gain map control, you do have to sell a bit of utility towards over to mid and whatnot. You can see there's a lack of utility, which is why 100 ping are going straight back to the A site take, but there's only so many times this is going to work. 1 for 1 as Papachulo gets a bit greedy, but Terry's good for 2. So 3 on 3 still.
Even trade, this time no gap in the smoke, but Terry is pushing through ahead of it and actually catches Micro. Really unaware, not expecting the player to be personal. Aziz though, really just not missing with the AWP. Still a player into its main, and Derek, flank up connector, will have Terry from the side of the head. They should have a good idea as to where the last player is, right? It's either going to be Firebox or he should be into its main. You've cleared out, there should be a player in middle because this was a very simple execute. Jumping bomb to force out the peak, and Derek swings. Just like that, Expendables put themselves onto 5 and 100p. They went for, I think, the exact same strategy that they pulled off in round number 2. That round, Papichulo was up close underneath the balcony, very much isolated from his team, right? This time he's playing retake, overextends a little bit still. Only good for the 1, gets traded, but Expendables with the weapons that they have are able to eventually take back the round.
I don't like this for 100 ping. Every single round that they force buying, it's a death trap. Even though they do have the 4-round loss bonus and they got the bomb plant down, the problem with this is just, okay, you don't actually have any utility to work with. And if you ask me who to back at the moment to win a couple of aim duels, I'd go, all right, AZ is probably going to win them. Maybe Terry on the side 100 ping, but you can't just rely on the individual's ping.
Ooh.
Derek just goes on a bit of a journey. The swings dry in. That's, if he had his gun out, that's a 50-50, but I think he wasn't expecting anyone to be there.
It'd be normal to call for flash from a teammate as well, right? Just lob a flash over A, over the palm trees, and then you're good. But I guess maybe it could be miscommunication from players on the other side of the map as well. Maybe expecting another A execute, considering 100p they've been doing A all half long so far, with the exception of a B rush round whereby it fell right on his face. Now he's grouping up to go back into its B, right? They get the opener and they just slow it down. A solo one-man fake is just gonna be Justin, a single smoke, and probably selling his life for it because he's got no other utility to work off it.
That's fine, though. He's already done what he needs to do, which
Yeah.
is as long as he sells a convincing fake, which is, well, they're anchoring so many members over here. Once the smokes do come out to the B site, Micro, how good is he? He needs to get at least 2.
So go for the one. Trying to rush down the retake pro. So not waiting for his teammates to arrive. Papichulo's late on the flank. 2 on 3, 100p might be about to convert the opener into a round win, but yeah, they can't overextend, right? Especially if Azzy's still alive. It's 12 and 1. So you can see 100p, they're just feet planted on site. Nobody's gonna make a move until Expendables they show their hand. And the longer the time takes, the ball's already halfway gone. Papichulo though with the opener. And yeah, Banana picks the right time to swing Azzy's a huge scalp to find. That will allow Darkest to sweep up Papichulo as well. 100p, despite forcing back in and despite doing something that in theory shouldn't really work out, right? They get a gift courtesy of Derek out into its middle, and yeah, just with a couple of smokes, no flashes at all, they throw bodies on the B side, courtesy of a fake being thrown by Justin as well, right? Although it was weak, but he managed to keep the rotates on site, and in fact he drew another over. That's going to be a second round for 100p, this time a fast they execute.
Yeah, got a lot more utility to work with as well. Okay, Molotov onto balcony. I think that one spreads, but AZ's going to be here with the AWP, and this time around, just pray there's no gap in the smoke, but he's still taking a couple of pot shots through the smoke as well. Ooh, I don't know about that from Potato. That's a bit of a potato move.
Yeah, Derek in the CT as well, the Molotov not spreading. And no cover for Terry, and as now the bomb's not even planted for the last 2 remaining Ts, right? Expendables, this should be there around every single day of the week.
Yeah, I need to see either Justin as well as Darkest step up over here. They're both stuck at Tetris. They're trying to create this crossfire over at A ramp, but that's just been absolutely nullified. It's pretty disgusting, honestly, from the Expendables. As Pro, I don't think you want to actually be picking up that from us. Micro needs to upgrade as well to an M4. There we are. Or an AK.
Even better.
Please, 100 ping, just have a half buy. I don't want to see a full buy at the moment.
I think that team that's pretty conservative on the economy, though. At least yesterday, whenever they lost pistol well,
Absolutely not.
Yesterday, it seemed as though they were a bit more conservative. Whenever they lost the pistol, they went for the full eco, and then they prioritized getting full buy rounds. Not really sure what's the reason behind the change up in terms of approach today. Maybe it's the fact that they're going up against Expendables as well, trying to catch them by surprise. I think if you're Expendables, you'd think that the worst has been over for now. That's until 100p show the hand with the weaponry. I think that happened a couple of rounds ago, right? Derek, I think he expected just the Eagles as well. In the end, met an AK at top of middle, and yeah, 100p catching Expendables off guard, but that was a couple of rounds back. Now Expendables starting to stabilize on the CT side, and 100p, again, inferior weaponry, not as much utility, but the CTs have expanded quite a bit of theirs.
Yeah, they at least had serviceable utility, and as well as weaponry. Might be a slow crawl out from A ramp at this point.
Yeah, but it's mid-crunch from the CTs, right? You've got one player into its short, one player in the nest, and another in connector as well to provide backup if necessary. That's why Papichulo is all the way playing retake in CT, but again, maybe just feeling himself out at the moment. Tries to take a couple more duels than you would expect from him usually. Let's put Expendables in a little bit of a pickle. Rotates very far away from the A side, which is why you can see Pro needs to rotate all the way back into CT. You don't want to just be coming in from jungle as well as connector, especially since you don't have a flank, but which means Pro, he has quite a bit of duty to open
It
up
needs
the
to
round.
be. Oh, look at that flashbang. So I was going to say that's a banger flashbang. It forces Justin to turn. They know one's at firebox has been nullified. I mean, this is just. It's just doming
Hell,
kids at the moment. That's the easiest way to say. There's been 9 rounds, should I say. He's had 16 kills so far.
and he's at 2 deaths, right? Just
Yeah.
you can't get rid of him if you're 100p.
And it's like, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but Papachula is doing his best to help 100 ping, trying to maybe take a round of the A site. It's like, they're full on executing, and Papachula goes, oh, my teammates are over at stairs. There's no one on site ready to swing and fight with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand mid-site and try to fight against 3 people. That's the alpha move. Look, if Papachula doesn't do that, he's not Papachula. That's the easiest way to call it.
I mean, he's confident in his teammates as well, right? I mean, yeah, sure, he dies, but at the same time, he's like, yep, I've got Aziz anyway, right? I don't have to be afraid. And yeah, see, you can see, normally the player alone on the A side would just be playing retake, but look, he's getting up close and personal now at the balcony. And Expendables, though, they've done a lot of information, right? Top mid's clear, they've got another player rotating in towards CT, that will be in the name of Micro. So this time a 2-man setup and 100p. Guess what? Guess what? It's back the way they go.
I don't know. Like I feel like it's been enough rounds where okay, here we go. Here are the smokes. I'll break it down later. But waterfall coming out from Palace, and they're gonna take out Papachula immediately. Throw spam through the smoke. At least able to. It's good for one. Micro's gun barrel I think was spotted out, but still fighting it out, waiting for a flashbang, and he's still winning these fights. The bomb's now lost in CT, and Justin, not just in time this time around. Keeping it costly. Keeping it very costly, actually, one-on-one.
Oh, Aziz, no, of course he's gonna hit the flick onto Justin. Well, it's almost as though we expected something different, but yeah, of course, it's Aziz gonna close out the round. Papichulo, once again, trying to land a helping hand. First one to die in the round, but 100p, still unable to do it. Color are surprised. Color are surprised, Karaf.
Yeah, the problem right now that I'm seeing 100 ping is that they haven't really taken this mid approach that heavily. So you can immediately see outside of one round where Expendables were like, oh, there's a lurk, we're going to have to clear out mid now. They, after they clear out a bit of mid, they're instantly back towards retaking A or getting people over here. They're able to win a lot of these fights. That should have been a lot cleaner. So if 100 ping if they're able to take this round, there's a big if at the moment, still on a 4-on-4.
Well,
3-on-3.
Treats should favor the T's, but I think I have a feeling in the mid round, 100p, they don't have the same level of experience, right? I think Expendables, this is a scenario they've faced a million times now, and they know there's a player in towards the apartments because shots have been exchanged. Terry opens up the B side, but the bomb's still very far away, 100p. A bit of a ruse. They're going back into its A. Yesterday, you saw them throw a lot of fakes against 4-5s and Pronoun on this map. I think they're doing something similar. Not to the quite same extent, right? This time they get the B side manually, but they decide to head back towards A. Papichulo still into a shot will realize that the bombs are planted for B, and with that kill, they should know. Last two remaining players on that A side.
Problem here is obviously Darkus has a P to 50, but he's locked in jungle at this point in time. This is a very difficult angle to retake, but he still hits that. That's just disgusting, man. It's such a favorable angle for for the T's to hold. Now it's just going to be Justin stuck at firebox.
Justin dancing around default. I don't think they expect this. They expect to be in CT instead. Either that or in main. Yeah, gets the 1v2. The one angle that Expendables don't check, they get punished for it. I mean, yeah, I mean, it is a low percentage play, right? I guess in that moment, it seems as though it'd be ridiculous for a player to hide a firebox because the bombs haven't planted for him. But in fact, it's because of that makes that play all the more likely for 100p, right? Justin, good call from his side, but you can't expect players to clutch out every single round that you win. 100p, you need to find a more sustainable way of winning. And it all begins with this buy round because they've broken the economy of the Expendables.
Yeah, that's just down to Justin actually having a couple of fantastic rounds. The previous round before this, he's able to take away 3 CTs. Maybe Expendables getting a bit too overconfident. He starts winning a couple of aim duels. And you can see, being pretty responsible though. Expendables up 8-3. Wouldn't have been surprised to see a call for a force buy, but I guess because the money is so close to being 5,000 for some of them, they're very happy with just having a few pistols and probably just playing this round out, seeing what they can achieve with the Deagles, with the USPs.
100p just slow across the board, right? Not just waiting for perhaps any bit of aggression to come from the CT side. I don't think they're necessarily aware that the Expendables will be echoing this round, right? It's the first round that they've won in a while. So now that they've crept out, now that they find Aziz in CT, should know that the A side is pretty clear. Of course, Papichulo's not dead. He is the A anchor, but this time Expendables, they've switched up the roles, switched up the positioning. Now they only have just USPs and Deagles to work with. Maybe looking to make the round a bit more expensive. Papichulo with one onto their Darkest Pro, another onto Justin. Still 3-on-3. Weapons are retrievable. Banana with this kill should secure the round. Maybe not wanting to overextend. Yeah.
Don't want to lose too many weapons. Want to make sure you keep your money up high. There is going to be that player in jungle who should be able to shut down any more aggression though. And Pro's only got a USB. None of the weapons really retrievable, so that's going to be a next point of guard. You can already see. Ready in. While waiting for 100 ping. So 4 rounds. It's not too bad. Can definitely stack up a few more. So Expendables going to be tested right now, considering their money isn't too crash hot. They're going to have to forego a bit of firepower and utility for this AWP.
I'd like to see if 100p decided to throw in a bit of fake. Yesterday we saw this whereby they faked and they execute and then they actually just straight away walked out of middle. Something different. I think it was a tactic stolen from Big. But it seems as though we're not seeing any of that today. Or maybe perhaps 2 players into its main, right? Lining up smokes for the execute. But Expendables, I think they're not likely to bite on this either, right? Once again, Papichulo just down to the MP9 but sitting himself in sandwich and yeah, there we have it, right? A bit of a fake being thrown, and Aziz will find Justin lurking out towards middle. Yeah, this is gonna draw the rotates over towards A. 100p, they need to start rotating off now because look, Aziz has got a decent idea as to what's happening right now. Micro, still on that B side, knows that they're coming in. Papichulo takes out the late lurk from Potato. Harry, if he opens up the side, this round is still doable for the sub 100p, but they need to get the bomb down fast.
Well, they've got plenty of time. You are pretty favoured actually on the T side, just locking down a bit of this position. The problem is the bomb, if he wants to go default, needs to cross. So that's really good, actually dropping a bit of utility. Derek, though, is snuck out with a FAMAS, and he's going to completely disrupt this. Even though the bomb plant does go down, it's all down to Darkest, who does have the Molotov, but there's so much time for the CTs to work with right now. He just mollied off himself. Never mind.
Well, it's going to be an easy defuse for Aziz. No kit though, so he has to go for the full 10-second stick. Yeah, but yeah, with his teammates topping up the incendiary in the apartments means that Darkest will have no choice but to save. I think did more harm than good to himself there with that Molotov. Well, a little bit unlucky. 100p though, 4 rounds, not the end of the world just yet. They will be able to bolster another buy. Just enough for effect full set of utility on all the players. Curious to see why there's a decoy on Banana. Maybe use that early on in the round to purchase up another bit of utility, which will be a bit more useful. And 100p, the fake there not working out too well for them, right? 2 kills for Expendables, basically for free, right? One into his middle and the other onto Potato walking out A, and then from there, Expendables with the bad advantage, they're always going to close it out. This time fast into the connector, though Flash but smoke moves at the same time. And because of that, the 2 players in connector get absolutely ripped apart. Potato aware of where the trade is from. Maybe a third as well. Ooh, could have swung that round single-handedly back in the favor of his side, but instead for Darkest. And one on.
Still win this though. He's been pretty sharp with the P250. Like, these 100 ping players have been pretty sharp, but just individually, maybe not matching up to the multi-frag potential of some of these guys from the Expendables. I mean, he's going to go... I would actually argue that taking mid this late is actually a very high percentage play because oftentimes it's not the area that's going to be guarded. Derek, I think maybe just missing the timing. Spots him out though.
Wants to fight, and well, there's a lot of information for his teammates, right? I think, yeah, Expendables, they want to crunch on this, so flash out, and yeah, just full blind Darkest. Expendables not giving any room to breathe at all, and that would be them hitting double digits as we head into round 115.
Final round of the half, and it's going to have to be a bit of a force-up. At the very least, 100 ping. It's because they have this 5-round loss bonus. They're not being punished too heavily for winning a couple of rounds here and there. They actually are able to strap together a serviceable buy. A bit of utility, but with this lacking utility, only 4 smoke grenades and Potato actually going with the AK, it does limit your options somewhat.
Yeah, okay, Potato. Yeah, catching Pro on his advances, possibly wanting to make the jump up towards short. However, loses the timing. and loses his life. But Expendables 4 versus 5 opts to completely rotate off that B side. Micro will replenish the smoke deep apartments, and this will signal to 100p that there is a player up close. And so you know where one is, and the other three players actually leaning into its middle, wanting to crunch the top of the map again. But Terry spots out the player jungle, and now the rotates once again for Expendables. 100p though, they're not opting to accelerate off this information just yet. Right, Bomb's still in T-spawn, and they still got a minute to play with, and they're gonna use every bit of their time possible. But just as they leave middle, Expendables, they clear it.
The problem at the moment is they need to, for 100 ping, they actually need to group up. You've done well enough in the next 30, like in the last 30 to 40 seconds, they did the right thing. They stayed frozen, static, see if they could punish any of the rotations because the CTs need to get some information. This is a big shortcut where they're walking two people out through apartments. Normally you flash in because an M4 at close range is almost impossible to dig out. Now they're starting to lose like individual picks where, okay, that's not too good. Papachulo's on a journey. He's cleared out mid. He's very confident his teammates containing B main. So with that utility then being dropped and Derek's hearing this, he's pushing in through T. And this round's gone terribly wrong for 100 ping.
Yeah, Derek's at the edge of the smoke as well, playing around it. And the flash is good from Darkest. Now they spot another play out towards short. But Azzy's slick movement as the offer finds yet another. Now Justin with Justin's deagle. Azzy's, he's not going to respect them at all. You throw smokes at him, you throw bodies at him. It's gonna slice through every single one. 100p. Oh, tough spot.
They're literally just getting bullied out of the server by a single AWPer. That's literally it at this stage. Like, Micro just goes to demonstrate your life as a B anchor. You do everything right. You stay alive. You get like a 1-for-1 when you need to, maybe a 2-for-1. You drop some utility. You hold onto your site, and it's like, all right, guys, I'm playing responsibly. Everyone else can peek. And you can see the two Ts that should be coming into his waiting arms. So they walk through without really retaking kitchen with any utility, and they walk straight into the AWP. So all his hard work is kind of just undone there. Because he's done the right thing in staying alive, and someone else takes all the credit, which is, in this case, going to be AZ.
I mean, he's having that kind of a game, right? Sometimes you see such games for opposite. What do you even do? There's really no counter to that, right? You throw more bodies at him, he's probably gonna get a collat as a result, right? So Expendables now on the pistol, they do a standard A take once again, but this time instead of going to CT, they establish jungle control courtesy of the top connector smoke.
Yep.
So 100p the retake coming in from CT, all 5 members, and Expendables, I think this is loud and clear for them. At the same time, the bomb is starting to take, although they're losing a lot of duels at the moment. That's until Expendables returns just a little bit, 2-on-4 still.
It's going to be very difficult, and Terry should be able to stick this as well. That should be GG. He should be, Potato actually should be straight onto it, and should be the pistol round in the favor of 100p.
Alright.
It's good. Nice couple of shots coming out from some of the members over there. Good little retake. They're all grouping up, so that's good to see. No one individually going for heroics, and well, for Expendables, you're this far ahead. You got the bomb plant. We know what this means. It means it's going to be straight into the force buy. How many AKs are we going to see?
Maybe 5 Galils, perhaps? I mean,
I'd like to see maybe a single AK being dropped over, maybe for AZ or something like that, but
it's like, oh, it will, yeah. Spot on, Papi Chulo. Selfless. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't keep the AK for himself, to be honest. I mean, he doesn't have any armor, but given the way he's been playing at the moment, might as well do it. Yeah, he doesn't even need the AK.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Oh dear, 100p losing players at the start of the round, make that the third as well. Micro picks up the M4, and last remaining players, they do have FAMAS. They do have the FAMAS, but Expendables, they've got a lot of time control, and yeah, they're winning all the duels. My god. Expendables, despite losing the round, they respond back immediately unless Terry up.
No.
No.
No, just no.
Just no.
Absolutely not. Oh man, it's. I think that's just summed up as Papachulo drops someone an AK, only has a deagle, doesn't have armor, double swing out through mid, he just one digs the guy window, and it just goes terribly wrong for 100 ping from there. You love to see it if you're like a T-side connoisseur of wide swings and deagle kills, but on a fundamental level, that should never happen.
Yeah, it just shouldn't, right? 100p, what do you do if you're in that situation right now? You're back down to the deagles yourselves, after getting forced on. And Expendables taking all the map control they can in the world right now. Just walking up middle, getting all the frags. 100p. This buy must have been a full eco.
No, that was the problem though. It wasn't a full eco.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Deagles being disrupted. It's just Expendables going, we can just take a lot of these fights and just win them. You're going onto the T side, even losing that pistol, I was like, oh, I don't even think this is a death sentence at the moment. Dark is just being an absolute nuisance right now, looking on how many kills he can really get. Fight for your life, 0.
And because of that, 100p opting for the reinvestment, and now they will have to suffer the consequences. 2.4k loss bonus, so even if they were to take the full eco of this round, look at that. Next round, they have peanuts to work with still, right? I mean, yes, they're able to get out the Enforce, get out Kevlar, but it's not going to be a fun round for them, especially if Expendables keep exploiting middle as they have done for the past couple of rounds, right? And this is why the 100p, despite picking Mirage, you felt a bit uncomfortable for them, right? But then again, right, what maps can you possibly take on? Maybe you go a bit out of the window, but trying to play to their so-called strengths, but Expendables, they're just better at the moment.
I mean, we always talk about playing to your strengths and everything, but this is just an overmatch in terms of individual ability and everything. Expendables, they're just letting... I mean, if we take a look at the scoreboard, maybe outside of Micro, you probably take a look at the kills at this stage, and there's not many members, honestly, on the side of Expendables missing shots, whereas 100p, when they have a couple of opportunities, sure, they're able to take a couple of hits, but...
Right.
At the end of the day, it's still just, there's firepower, so even though there's a couple of USPs, it kept it a bit exciting. There, you can take a look, right? AZ's on 28, Derek's on 20. You have double digits for a lot of the 100p members, don't get me wrong. I don't think this is like, it's not as if they're not chipping in and chiming in, and it's a complete overclass, but there's none of that kind of X factor that we talk about. There's none of that carry potential or kind of the multi-frag potential that allows them to get out of sticky situations.
Yeah, just thinking that closer, right? You saw, right, there was one clutch, I think it was courtesy of Justin on that A side, but that's been about it, right? 100p, they've been able to keep the rounds pretty close, especially on the T side, right? CT side, not quite. But on the T side, a couple of rounds where Expendables had 1 or 2 players alive, but now this is Expendables giving 100p a taste for their own medicine, although they're able to throw a spanner in the works, right? Disrupting the execute with the early opener to its main. Expendables, though, they're still going to hit this A side, rest assured. And they will find the trade onto Justin. Oh, Derek, as he's holding for the trade as well. This is the difference that we're talking about, right? Just fundamentally, the players, they're different, right? 100p, they played right? They try to swing off each other's contacts, but Expendables, they're 2 steps ahead. They're holding for the positions.
Derek just wins pretty much 2 aim deals, just snaps onto one, just wins out one in the open. Another one comes out from underneath balcony. He's tagged out, but Derek still locks onto the head. And there's not much you can really do from there. It's always going to be a trade game. You're always trying to get reactionary, but Expendables have your protocols. You have an AWPer that's dedicated to not focusing on any other target. You trust your rifler. So you're just going to be posted on that jungle smoke, like waiting for that walkout, even though there's a Molotov. And look at that. He's rewarded by a CT just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's just these protocols, the practice and understanding exactly what the reactions are going to be, trusting your teammates and what angles they're going to be holding. And that's kind of why Expendables are up to 15-5 and why they're very happy in balling it out, because why not? You're winning these aim deals. Why not brawl it out? Why not devolve it down to a game that you're very good at, which is trading each other out and understanding how to multi-frag?
I mean, of course, it helps that your players, they are right on form as well, right? Just know it's not sluggish at all from Expendables in the slightest. 100p, they were able to string 14 rounds together against 4-5 Sempona yesterday, but this has been a different ball game, right? Not an absolute outclass as you mentioned by any means, but Expendables, they're showing us why they are the team that they are as well, why they have that name, that brand, and why they should be feared heading into not just map number 2, but actually the grand finals as well. Micro, you open up with the Terry, and yeah, 100p, this should be where the cookie crumbles now. 4 versus 5, Expendables coming back to the A side, perhaps wanting to dish out a bit of punishment like what 100p did to them earlier. Aziz with another to Justin, puts himself on to 30, picked up 31. Now it's 4 on 2. Big luck I
mean, Pro is going to be able to pick off this connector player, even if he pushes out. You're stuck on stairs, and all Pro needs to do is just wait. So he hears Banana. Nearly cooks that one. It's all down to Dark, and unfortunately, there's about 3 people ready to swing him. I think there was a plant that was going ahead, but yeah, that was always going to be Expendables. That was very convincing on Mirage. We might see a very quick semi-finals from here, unless 100 Ping can really bring out something on Overpass, but I just really don't think so.
Yeah, Expendables, it will be their map pick as well, right? Overpass. I mean, of course, 100 Ping, they did pick it themselves yesterday, but yeah, always suspect when you lose your map in the manner that they did, right? In the end, the scoreline, I think it flatters Expendables a little bit more, makes 100 Ping look a little bit weaker, 16-5, but yeah, I mean, as is, I think that performance speaks for itself. I think when you see a scoreline like that, I think that it's a decent representation of how things went down.
I mean, even outside of like Azzy dropping like a 31 and a 7, like a casual 4.43 KDR, and probably rating about 2 or something like that in this game. What was it? 20 rounds, 21 rounds. He's got 31 kills, so he's at least taken 1 or 2, like 1.5 every single round on average. Even outside of that, you look at across the board, there was just really nothing in the tank for 100 Ping outside of maybe a few individual clutch performances. Like I said, though, I don't think they're a bad team per se. It's just they're clearly outmatched by a team that has better protocols, understand the structure of what they need to do and how they need to play a little bit better, has a little bit more individual potential on some of these members, and that's all you need to win a Mirage. Overpass is a bit different, but when you're not winning the individual aim deals cleanly either, when it comes to the multi-frags and you're looking at maybe Expendables, even if they start on the T side, they can kick up the pace and pretty much dominate all of Overpass pretty quickly if 100 Ping don't step up.
Yeah, we see small glimpses of, decent aim coming out from the side of 100 Ping, right? But it just doesn't feel consistent, right? Whereas, on the side of Expendables, the remarkable consistency at which they do it, at which they not just win the aim duels, but at which, the fundamentals are, being shown and being exhibited, such as that round where Azzy is just holding for the trade out from the jungle smoke, right? I think that is the difference between the two teams at the moment. But 100 Ping moving into Overpass, it's not a map where it's not like earlier on, right? Whereby Huatsai, it's the first time playing it in a long time, right? 100 Ping, they're used to playing on that map and they should have a couple of things to show, but the big question will always be, right? Can they string together just a couple of rounds to maybe make the scoreline look a bit more respectable, or can they even take us to a third, as has been the case for them throughout this tournament? But until then, we go for a little bit of a short break at the moment. We'll be right back after the break.
Perfect. Do you know what your worth is? You always give, but you don't take. Don't you deserve it? Always running around circles. Gotta be there when they need your care, but you need a break or two. Or 2 or 3. Tryna look after them, gotta look after yourself too. But you can't give away something you don't have to lose. She just wants the love, love, love. She just wants the love, 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 love. She just wants the love, love, love. So don't change, no, don't change, no. Got love in your DNA. Well, she's a lion, but she'll never roar to prove a point. Quietly sure of her own mind, and if they know best, they'll join her side, yeah. Don't make no mistake, she's at her heartaches, yeah. She's at her heartbreak, time and again, but no, she don't focus on it. Oh, there's so much unpromised. You best believe her if you get and keep her. No, these jeans are red, should rethink what you knew before. She just wants the love, love, love. She just wants the love, 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 love. She just wants the love, love, love. So don't change, no, don't change, no. Got love in your DNA. Oh. They should have your name up in lights now. It would take the Hollywood sign out. Well, no, don't you ever have no doubts. I'll be cheering your side loud. They should have your name up in lights now. It would take the Hollywood sign out. Well, sometimes the rain must fall down so the sky can be found. She just wants the love. She just wants the love. Oh, love. She just wants the love, 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 love. So don't change, no, don't change, no, no. She just wants the love, the love, the love, the love. She just wants the love, the love, love. She just wants the love, the love. She just wants the love. So don't change, no, don't change, no. Got love in your DNA. Oh.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the ASUS ROG Masters 2021, the APAC Finals. We're here into the semi-finals and at the moment it's not looking too good for 100 ping. It was a pretty convincing victory in Mirage for the Expendables and they're going on to their own map pick now in Overpass. I mean, my argument is that it's going to be something very similar where Expendables should be able to take this one convincingly. Is there anything, Gobbles, that you think that 100 ping can do differently or do you think it's going to be a clean 2-0 today from what you've seen?
Yeah, blink and you miss it, right? I think it's gonna be a clean 2-0 no matter what. And unless, Expendables, they lose the 9th round and, maybe they start on that T side, maybe that's where you can talk about 100 ping, maybe stringing together a couple of rounds on the favored side on Overpass. But, look at how hot Expendables look at the moment. Even if they were to get the T side at the start, I think they would just, be content with really bringing the fight into the faces of the CTs. Well, it remains to be figured out. But what do you reckon, Kara? What about you?
Well, I mean, you look at Mirage on that T side, the only round that Expendables lost, wasn't it like a pistol? That was it.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't mind. This is an argument where a lot of the time I think it's a bit of a weird one because theoretically it makes sense, but reality is that it doesn't make sense. Is on Overpass you actually start on the T side, especially if it's the first game of the day and you're feeling pretty warmed up, because that's where you have a bit more of a leeway as a T side player. You have those. I guess the Pega's advantage, especially when it comes to a bit of higher ping. When you're starting to sit at 30 and 40, you definitely can get away with having to enter as opposed to play reactionary. You can get a couple of streaky rounds, especially if you're not a great team. So once it gets to the stage where you get 5 or 6 on the T side of Overpass, you're not a fantastic T side team. All you have to do is go into the CT side and lock down your sights from there. But if you start on the CT side and you get punished for that, it becomes much harder to come back on the T side because then you actually have to show the chops that you can actually make your way back into the game. You can make your way back into the series, especially for 100 ping. Starting on the CT side, pistol would be great, anti-eco would be better, and the first gun round would be much more convincing for me to argue that they'll have a chance coming into this. Whereas Expendables, I think we're going to already see a bit of the same old, which is going to be even if they lose a pistol, even if they lose an anti-eco, they get carried away with the gun rounds. Here we go into the numbers.
Able to find a couple of openings.
That's
Banana, good for 3. And, well, Expendables, a little bit careless in their approach to the round. Derek will delete Justin, and they can't afford to fight this too much. 100p. Banana wants to go for the ace, perhaps. It's got to 4 now, and Pro, last remaining player with the bomb. However, 100p, they have pushed in towards Fountains and are flanking towards B. If Pro, just get to move on, can still get the bomb down, and maybe a 1 versus 4. It's not exactly impossible, right? Because Banana and Terry, they're incredibly low.
Yeah, you'll be able to get the bomb plant, which I would argue is much more influential at this point in time for the Expendables, because as soon as you get this bomb plant down, it just means, all right, we have a bit more cash to work with. The problem for him, though, is the more time he takes, he's going to hear all the CTs rotate out, and he's not going to be able to really win these duels. He's actually staying and opting to fight, so they're going to clear this corner, though, and I would have felt like he's a bit better off planting. Yeah, planning and trying to afford his team the Galils and everything than kind of just trying to play that percentage play. He wasn't expecting 4 people, I think, just to be full sending it with no fear whatsoever.
Yeah, I think we'd have known that 100p, they already clear all the way through Monster and all the way back up B, right? You maybe think at best there's 2 players there, and you think you'll be able to catch them with the pants down, right? Backs turned towards you, but no. Potato, he's bunny hopping, making sure he clears every angle because the only place that Pro could have been was on that A side. And yeah, we talked about it, right? They've got a pistol now, but it's about surviving that second wave, right? This time it's just gonna be the deagle for Derek 9. Only deagle in this round, but this is 100p. This was an eco. There was no reason for Potato to be so close. Justin will be able to at least equalize the state of affairs, and Expendables are looking to make their way up towards long.
Just group up on the back of the single flashbang, try to maybe barrage your way into the site and see how you go from there. I think even Derek was a bit surprised by that one, and you can see that Pro, there's not much you can really do. The Glock actually does the bulk of the work. Papachulo decides to go for a bit of a flight. Works an absolute charm. Plant should go down as well. They're playing aggressive. Okay, I don't mind this, because oftentimes you see the post plant go back towards bathroom. You have SPs and Eagles in quite close range.
Ooh, yeah, Micro is able to chase down the frag and knows he's on a 1-on-2. If he wins this duel, it's doable now. 1 versus 1. Micro has got no armor at all. Justin, it's the clutch. 1 versus 1. Micro, this would be an absolute steal. Expendables. Justin clears the corner methodically, and wow, good check onto Micro there. I thought he would have went straight for bank, right? Because it seems like the highest percentage play. But, well, Justin, another big round. Right, 100p, they barely survived the scare. Expendables, but this is the rifles coming out. That was just 4 Glocks and a deagle, and yet it's still kept so close. Expendables, 100p they might have won the round, but they're definitely not going to be feeling too good about themselves.
I mean, it's back down to the MP9s. It's back down to lack of utility if you decide to go for firepower. So Potato's got that difficult decision to make whether to go for a FAMAS or utility, or if he goes for an M4 and a single smoke grenade. And you just don't hold on to sites with this set of utility. Whereas for Expendables, it's you've done damage, you've got the bomb plant down, and you ecoed up. You're now rewarded with a very, very good buy where you can actually get an AWP in your third round with a full set of utility.
Yeah, and but man put it on 10 Nancy's as well, right? Justin, once again with a kill that at least puts 100p in a more doable spot. They've opted to put all 4 players into its B. So going for a bit of progression, I think Derek 9, yeah, he spots out the feed, but the metal grade is not something that does not damage when you shoot through it, but he is able to still open up the angle for himself. Potato, yeah, pays for the peak with his life. Expendables, they know, right? 100p, they're very much restricted at the moment, which is why they go for the bit of re-aggression. But if he finds a frag, can switch himself up to the AK, and more importantly, there's a lot of information, right? Expendables, now you know that, B has been compromised. And so, where do they decide to go? Back to A, and there's 2 players here waiting to receive. Justin is incredibly low though, so Jarkis will have to do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, Molly into bank as well, so Dark actually has to back away. You have to set up for the retake. You got a Molly that you can use to maybe deny the plant. HE grenade, not going to really hit the mark too well. So this is the part where Expendables, you start backing away. You all play together in the retake, or in the case of Pro, you just win a duel like that. Sure.
The flank from Banana's still good, but there is a player flanking in reverse, right? That'll be Papichulo making his way back round the toilets. Justin needs to wait for his teammate, but yeah, Papichulo with that shot. It's gonna confirm things for Expendables, as he's with the AWP. Of course, he's not gonna miss.
Doesn't mismatch this man, even though he's pretty good on the reactions. Probably the ideal person you want to set up on a retake.
Yeah, and it's scary, right? Think about that. If Aziz gets the AWP out on CT side, if I'm 100p, I'm probably gonna go B every single day, right? You know the ops normally gonna be playing towards A, but then again, you're gonna be running to possibly a 3 or 4 man stack on a sort of Expendables. But that is if they give themselves a fighting chance on the T side even. First off, they need to get a decent number of rounds, but at the moment, money's been broken. And this is why, right? The second round, because it was kept so close, 100p, they just simply couldn't have any sort of procedural cash whatsoever. Because of that, now they need to throw in something a little bit different. 3 players leading into his middle, the player up at long as well, and Expendables, very slow across the board. They know what they're up against as well.
Still though, Darkest, nice couple of deagle shots, does damage to Pro, grabs the head of Papachulo as well. I don't mind this for 100 ping, where it's on these eco rounds, you decide to go a bit more aggressive as opposed to just playing a bit passive and just waiting for something to happen. There is this aggression now towards Fountain. But looks like AZ's on top of things. Here's another player. There's also now this unders person. I think that's going to be Micro, who might be interested in pushing out. There you are. And there you have it. That's instantly the aggression is broken up thanks to just some good patience from the Expendables. Darkest and Terry, though, can definitely get some work done still with these pistols.
And the Deagle is very much alive and kicking in the toilet. Sets until Micro puts him down. Now it's Terry. Just Deagle, Kevlar. Smoke and a flash might be better off saving because next round 100p they will have to go for the full eco either way. Expendables, they should know right now they're sending 2 players on a scout mission, right? One towards A, one towards B, and then the bombs in rotation, right? So whichever side is clear, they can hit their way over. But Terry is not given himself or his positioning up. And in fact, Expendables, they're coming over back towards A. So Terry maybe with a bit of luck. Can get a couple of frags maybe down, but I just don't think so. Yeah, Micro still being very cautious. I mean, he should have been somewhere near CT, right? There was one position where Expendables hadn't cleared properly. Maybe he could have snuck through somewhere, but chances are very incredibly unlikely. And 100p now. Another eco. I guess for them, maybe it's just throwing bodies, maybe out into its middle, or maybe a gamble stack, right? Because if you play default on an eco round like that, especially with just USPs and a P250, it's not going to do anything at all. And you can see all 5 members leaning towards the A side, 3, 4 towards middle.
Maybe into unders or like around a connector where you stack a couple of USPs on some off angles. You can see, gonna be geared up. Micro's gonna absolutely nade no one at all.
Well, they're pushing him. So that's the AK retrieved that, but Expendables, this is where they see 4 players, right? The call comes through and then the rest of the players will start trying to go for the pincer, but they need to be careful here, Expendables.
I was gonna say, that could have been very costly. You can back Terry to maybe knock another head off and react in time to swivel around and make sure he takes away the unders player, but that HE grenade, I think, just wrecks absolute havoc with his hearing. So into the first, I mean, can we even say this is the first gun round? Into the second gun round for 100 ping, but here's the problem. Once again, there's no utility, there's no warp. When I say there's no utility, the problem with Overpass is that it's a map where you actually do need to have smokes and molotovs to hold on, or incendiary grenades in the case of the CT side. And Darkus has already used a smoke, and they're going to be out of utility very early on. The short fire is going to work for 400 ping, actually.
It is an even trade. Justin, again in the connector, he's been, I think, the one kind of shining star, right, for 100p. Amidst all of this, amidst the defeat, amidst everything that's going on, he's been the player to be pretty consistent, and Caster's Curse has it. He overextends the moment he give him a little bit of praise. They're on 3, but look at how low Banana is as well, right? They go back into its B, to which they have no more utility to hold on to. Maybe just a flash play at best. 100p is still going to be a very difficult round to hold on. I mean, it is a 3-on-3, they have 2 players towards B, and Expendables are coming over. But, yeah, they hear the flash as well. It's way too obvious. Chulo, yeah, the only way that worked was if Terry had a flashbang from one of his teammates, but now they know that he's at the Toxic Barrel's flank, though is imminent and fast from Darkest. So, also Banana Falls could have set his teammate off the clutch. Now, Aziz, but he doesn't miss, jumps across the pillar, and in fact, he does miss. So, showing us that, oh, we are all still human after all.
Yeah, he would have backed him to hit that one, but Darkest does come fast enough. Good flashbang as well. As he trying to shift around in position, doesn't really go straight for the fight. Might be to his deterrence at the end of the day. So, I mean, the problem here for 100 ping once again, though, is going to be the case of, yeah, you got utility this time, but you don't have the firepower. So a couple of MP9s, you have to get them close range and try to deal it out. A very strange game of Overpass I'm seeing from 100 ping, where that round was a little bit more regulation, but the previous rounds of some of their gun rounds have been playing it very strange. Once again, short fight, that's going to be in the favor of... I should favor the CTs, but... Micro is able to punish Justin this time around.
It's felt like the more we praise Justin it's just a little bit downhill from there.
We've killed him from there on. No, you can only do the same play so many times before an enemy decides to use their brain cells and cotton on, and that's what the Expendables did. They just had that late alert coming out from Connector this time around, just waiting patiently enough to make sure that if any pressure was levied on the CTs, he'd be traded out very quickly.
Doc is all right now on the east side, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the AWP though, so and he's got a full set of utility.
Oh, I think, yeah, Perfectly. Ooh, Papi Chulo, yeah. Just holding, right? Expendables, no. The onus is on 100p, right? If you just sit on the side, right, wherever Expendables go, it will be a 4 on 2, minimally, right? And so, with that, 100p, you raise the white flag and say, yep, let's just go for the save. Giving yourselves a better chance, right? If they go A, then yeah, you guys have a chance to win up the round. If they go B, then sure, at least you can carry the weapons over because loss bonus has been reset a little bit on the side of 100p. They still got an AWP alive, they still have a kit as well, so it's better off to give yourselves a better chance at the next round as opposed to going for this.
I don't know. Darkus looks like he's pretty interested in. Okay, no, I was about to say he looked like he was interested in maybe coming back like through heaven, maybe taking a couple of pot shots and running away, but he's straight out of there, straight through bank. Going to be withdrawing that AWP and saving it forward.
Expendables now should be on course for a decent T-side half. Of course, I think normally it might even be possible to argue that if we get 3 or 4 rounds, it's pretty decent already. Of course, your CT side will be ahead by a couple of rounds, right? If it's, let's say, 11-4 half in the favor of 100p, but 4 rounds on overpass, it's certainly enough to work with. But the fact of the matter is, it's only round number 8. We've just tipped past the halfway mark of this first half, and Expendables find themselves in the lead. 4-3, 100p, can't afford to buy back. It's just a USP to accompany the rifles.
I think this is the part where it's a really weird argument because you have an AWP and an M4. Do you buy maybe a few pistols or drop over a few if you had the loss bonus? They don't have the loss bonus, so I feel like this is better for the long-term scenario. Hope that Darkus is maybe able to get a few picks here and there.
Oh dear.
What you don't want to do though is lose your AWP immediately.
And Justin going for an engagement as well. Can't even retrieve the AWP, right? Because connector control has been established by the T side. And, well, you had all your hopes pinned up on Darkus, and just like that, it's gone. And Derek's ahead of smoke as well. Terry's gonna be left wondering what just hit him, and the 2 rifles from 100p just absolutely deleted out the round, clubbed out by 2 openers from Expendables. And if you have to look at 2 players where they should not be finding openers on, it was going to be those 2.
Now the reroute back through short pipe into Monster. Derek will be able to see 1 and the second, so he is very easily going to be able to take both. Might even be rewarded with the last one. Gets the Glock at that. Gets the dink at that distance with the Glock. 2 bullets left in the AK. Oh, Derek.
Oh dear. Well, at least they're going to be able to get out another buy, right? However, this time there is no AWP on Darkus, and look at the utility, right? This is going to last you around about 30 seconds, right? You think about it, an incendiary towards T-stairs, a smoke for Monster, and that's 2 gal. You throw another one into a short, and that's all your incendiaries got. Right, 100p, this is not an ideal situation at all. Maybe a boost, perhaps to catch somebody off guard, but if they play standard, I really don't think they're going to get around at all.
I think that's the problem as well. Like, we saw that in Mirage, now we're starting to see it bleed out a little bit into Overpass. When you just don't have this utility, you can get away with 1 or 2 rounds where you can... I mean, truly 1 round so far in a gun round, where Justin's able to maybe swing out through short and get a couple of multi-kills through connector. One of the other players is able to go aggressive and get a few cool deagle kills and everything. But it doesn't build up to be a solid, convincing, long-term plan. You can only utilize so many niche strats like this one. You can see Derek is so well aware of what the dangers are going to be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he understands right now that 100 ping don't really have any good defaults. Like, I'm looking at all these defaults that 100 ping is setting up at this stage, and they only have themselves to blame with lack of utility, where they need to go and do something aggressive. But you look at the setup at toilets, like a long A slash, like a double long A toilet setup. They've got the shadow advantage, but a single flashbang ruins their day.
But you gotta pick it dry and micro. Pays for it, but still, information for Expendables, if there's a player there, maybe, yeah, as he's just gonna dry peek back in and suspects that there's a second as well. Well, 2-man setup just picked apart without any single bit of utility being used, and so now setting that A fake. Look, if they're going towards A, they're gonna get A control, but it's not even. I think Terry hears this, yeah. If he wins both engagements, then it's still possible. 14 seconds left for the clock, and Terry shoved the bomb! So now, 100p, I think they've got the round. For sure.
Yep. I mean, it's Expendables just absolutely just big brand themselves into the defeat there, so they should go down over here. There you have it. They overthought the situation a little bit too much. All they needed to do was group up at that point in time, but I think the bomb was a bit too split away. As a result, 100 ping, I think we're on the way to probably saving, actually.
Yeah.
We're on the way to going, well, there's no way we can contest against that. Let's just hold the B site, and Expendables just decide to walk into the last two defenders, which, look, you can't really argue against it as 100 ping. You have to blame that on the Expendables maybe doing something a bit too silly and buying too much time on the clock, or killing too much time on the clock. Going to see something a bit more decisive sometimes when it comes to these situations.
But I'm sure they won't be kicking themselves for losing that as well, right? It's probably just a round whereby, oh, yep, we tried it, we gave it a go, but it didn't work out, so let's just play a little bit more properly next couple of rounds. Connected door will be needed open, so that's going to force the team to be a lot more cautious in their approach, but the spam's good. Derek and Banana basically out of the round. Justin, though, yet again, always standing his ground in the connector. And let's hope the praise does not lead to his death, because as a player up close, it's going to be pro. But Potato's providing covering fire, and yeah, the smoke's good. Will at least buy him a bit of space, but he needs to get out of here, because the longer he stays, the closer Expendables can get to him. Bomb's still in spawn, and double opener for 100p, I think, should be enough for them to close it out.
You'd hope so. They need to convincingly close this out, make sure that they get that AWP, get the AKs across as well. I think Derek's managed to make this move into short water, so he's still trying to pick off this lurk player coming out from unders. He's really cautious about the timing. He might be able to just thread the needle.
Ooh, no, gets spotted. Can't peek, but will get flushed out by the Molotov. In fact, he doesn't. Uses his smoke. And now the B prompt instincts can come in. Terry, though, with the off angle, I think he should get the hits up Joe. Spots out the beat of Pro as well. And Derek trying to... Ooh, the dig of the realm in heaven as well. That's ridiculous from Derek. But 15 seconds left on the clock. Still needs to get the bomb down and needs to get running. Smoke for sight will cover the block of vision, but Potato is hunting down the plant. And yeah, they retrieve an AK for the troubles as well. 100p managed to draw level, but I think it's more so Expendables giving up the round rather than 100p taking it for themselves. But of course, I mean, it's always good to see.
I wouldn't say giving up the round. I actually say that Expendables fought back pretty hard from that situation. You hit the small site, you find that nice piece of timing, you flush out the unders player, and you hit the B site where there's only 2 defenders left. But that's some nice stuff from Terry. You have to praise 100 ping for some of the individuals trying to step up. I was saying that for Overpass to not be close. We need to see more of this coming out from their members. They're still struggling with the money. I mean, both parties are struggling with the money at this stage.
I was thinking as well, right? Justin's had so much success in first connector this entire half, right? It's not normal that someone should perform this well against Expendables, but now Banana and Potato chiming in as well. Micro left in pretty positive 1 versus 4, and yeah, you hit the deck. Yeah, I was just... You were talking about the last round in reference to Justin, right? He's been consistently been good for a couple of multi-frags in the connector. And if you look at the side of Expendables, you had 2 players there, you should be able to get the trade, but they don't, missing a couple of shots, but at the same time, then if you know Justin's always going to be in that connector, why not just devote a couple more resources to flush him out first, right? If you know he's there, you throw a standard default, a smoke off for toilets and a molly for the divider, so the trade's impossible, and then you zone him out, and then it's an easy 5v4, but Expendables, they try to take the engagements, and in fact, they give over the round instead. So now they're going to be just down to the pistols, but, well, we all know how round number 2 went.
This time around, there's 5 Deagles, which is a bit more scarier. Though Justin is always going to be alive and ready to fight. It's going to be another headshot for him.
Good.
Yeah, of course, it's Justin who's going to be able to brawl it out. There's Etho, returning the favor. Papachulo will go down to the AWP. So a bit of a spread across round so far. As he should be able to take this duel. Really thinking about challenging right now because he really wants to get rid of some of these extra weapons. Potato as well, going to make it very difficult for Azzy to clean things up. And there you have it. 100 ping have kept a lot of these rounds very convincingly clean on these anti-ecos. They have earned the right to fight through a couple more gun rounds and really testing Expendables at the moment.
Yeah. Let's see if Expendables... We yet to see a full-on execute coming out from them, right? If it's felt as though most of these rounds have just been defaults, and depending on whether or not they win the early engagements, that kind of decides how the round goes, right? If they find the early opener, then they're able to close it out. If they don't, then there's no plan B. Right? If they lose the opener, they can't perform and execute. But now with the spam into short, looking to deny the advances of the troops. But once again, Aziz needs to win this duel, and I guess there was a solution the entire time. Right? Send Aziz in, take out Justin instead.
Well, it's worked an absolute charm this time around because he's been a very important player locking down this unders position. Now, Expendables need to group up, take and flood out all his control, not do that Papa Chulo, not run straight into the AWP. That is absolutely not going to help the cause at this point in time. There is enough rotation to 100 ping for me to back them up on this defense, but it does depend on the aim. Here we go.
Darkest still alive into his long and easy mop up. 3 players already arriving on the scene of crime for 100p and Expendables. A bit too fast, right? I think he kind of took the suggestion, right? That round they smoked off toilets, Molly Divider, hunted down Justin, early 5-on-4, and then Papichulo gives up the man advantage. And then from there, Expendables, too readable, I suppose. 100p. I mean, good call, right? Very fast rotations, arriving on site, preempting the attack, expecting the A hit from Expendables, expecting the change up in pace. And so, well, 100p. They've at least got the half now. They'll be looking for a bit more now. Short aggression coming out as he's the AK. Sub 2. Doesn't even take a single point of damage. The hero AK has worked out a treat for him.
This is where I go, yeah. This is the part where you accelerate. You really need to take down this B-site defenders. It's a fine line between understanding when you need to go for it and when you don't need to go for it. When you take down an unders player, because it's so far away from a site, you need to slow things down because you don't really truly have territory control just yet. But in this case over here, where you look at when they take away these short players, of course that's a go signal there. Lots of damage already being done to this T-side economy. But Pro still more than happy to hunt, and he should be rewarded with a kill. Don't know if the orb's retrieval, if he shot it to Oblivion. He shot it to Oblivion. Unfortunate.
Well, his last round of the half, as he... I think he's better off on the rifle on that T side, right? I don't think he's found too much success necessarily, and that's credit for 100p, right? Not overextending very early on in the rounds. In fact, most of the engagements have come in towards connector and towards B short, right? So not a lot towards long, not a lot towards monster, where the ops would traditionally hold towards. And so, 100p looking for the 9th Expendables default this time, once again. And
that's a good name.
do. Yeah. That's quite a bit of damage, right? 2 players take down to half HP.
Look, for Expendables, you got into 6 rounds on the T side. That's good enough in my mind. Potato has a shadow advantage in this game, but still fighting. Well, he was always going to spread, and now Justin. I just assumed it was Justin coming out from unders, but he has not just yet, actually.
Oh, but they're holding for him.
Yeah, they're waiting for it's where's Justin gonna be? Justin's alive. I wonder where he's gonna be. Oh, he's gonna be in unders. And Terry gonna fight out short.
It's a big round. 2 players are pretty low though, so if he gets first headshot, it's very much doable. 4 and 43 HP left on Aziz and Micro respectively. However, there's a leak flank that will be coming in the form of Papichulo. So yeah, I think it's not exactly clear where the second player is. Yeah, Darkest. I think he suspects something, but ooh, Papichulo gets spotted out. And so, Expendables, how do you opt to react after this? They want to go back to A, but the bomb's dropped in the smoke, right? But 100p, don't think they know this. So they need to still get the bomb, Expendables. Now it's clear for Terry.
It's a bit of a cat and mouse game, but 23 seconds left. They're going to have to start making a bit of a move on right now. Papichulo, dance to the death with Darkest at the stage. He's going to come out on top. Now Terry's attention is going to be diverted away. And AZ was able to creep out through Monster. Bit of a topsy-turvy final round over there, but ultimately 100 ping doing very well to secure those 5-round streak at the middle. And looking a bit more competitive than Mirage already, which is always good. But now they have to really bring the A game on that T side.
Yeah, this is the concerning fact, right? Yes, they've been able to get to halftime with just a very slender margin, a very slender lead. But Expendables, the SCT side, I think, is something to behold, right? This is what they picked this map for, right? They certainly have got all the rotations, all the protocols, all the reactions ironed out to a T. So it's up to Expendables to see if they can wreak some havoc and cause a bit of disruption in the comms and in the communications. Or will they just gets swatted down like flies. Fast up towards the connector for the pistol, but Aziz is holding the line, and I think it's good for at least one, maybe pop a couple. Oh, nope, actually misses in fact, and has to fall back because they've lost timing. No, they want to keep fighting. Aziz opens up the round, but he needs to take his teammate out, and both of them will fall. Still a flank though from Pro, and a couple of whiffs from Expendables. Likely to cost them the round unless Derek and Micro. Something else to say. Fast flank coming in from Derek.
He's got the kit to work with as well. They're not planning for toilets. They're planning over at truck. So going to be very difficult for Derek to actually find some of these angles. You can already see that 100 ping going to be aware of the flank potential. Micro has been spotted out. Derek wins at first aim duel. So they brought it back down to a 2-on-2. Dance around the merry-go-round from Justin once again. Really likes these stance positions. It's all down to Derek. Does have a kit, but he's in a crossfire. There's no way to negotiate that with 100 ping. And the pistol round goes in the favor of the Hong Kong region team once again.
Expendables up to buy. I mean, they've broken them twice. Seems unlikely.
I wouldn't mind seeing a force buy coming out from the CT side.
Yep.
You've got a lot of long angles to work with the scout. You can drop a few smoke grenades. Papachulo's doing... I mean, this is a big favor that Papachulo's doing, actually. He's going down to Deagle and no armor. I feel like he's... So, as a result, that means that AZ can actually grab the AWP very early on with a decent set of utility. If things don't go too well in this round for Expendables.
I think it's unlikely to go too well either, right? Because 100p, they've sent 4 players into a slong, right? The one place the Expendables have opted to, not guard, right? But with time ticking, I think they will start considering the possibility. I think they'll be loud and clear with their footsteps as well. Not really sure if Aziz actually hears it, but with the utility arriving, it should be pretty obvious now. Aziz, so if he lands a couple of tags, he softens the opponents up for the deagles, right? Now Papichulo in on the action as well. Oh dear, this is falling apart. Justin needs to limit the pressure, and all of a sudden it's a man advantage back in the favor of 100p. At 2, Derek. After 1 on 3, Darkest is low.
Once again, Justin's been really proving himself to be the difference maker at this point in time. I wouldn't mind actually you saving the AK on the side of Derek. 8 HP, you've got full armor, full helmet, smoking HE. It's a lot of kit to be working with. You can gamble stack somewhere else, really send it with a couple of USPs, do some more damage to that T-side economy. You're denying an AK as well, away from 100 ping, so I don't mind this at all. That was a huge chance, honestly, for Expendables once again to snatch away another round. But the difference here is that 100 ping actually has some individuals here to play now. Justin's good for the multi-frag, so is Darkest as well.
Yeah.
So 100 ping actually going to be the first team in the double digits. Ahead by 3 for now. On that T side, just need to keep that pressure up. Expendables going to be on the eco for this one, but Derek does actually have an 8k as well as some utility to play with. So chance for more damage, 100 ping. You need to be cautious exactly which site or which territory they're wandering into in case they walk into a stack.
Yeah. And now you've done the hard work. Now this is where you kind of reward yourself, right? I mean, yes, there's an AK on Derek 9, but overall the buy as a whole shouldn't be as menacing as it was the previous. So 100p, if you do something similar, if you do a due diligence, should be yours to take. But Derek 9 with the AK, and now he's filtering the rest of 100p over towards his A side, right? Which then very difficult. The snapping turtle. Oh, it's CZ in fact. Good for 2 yet again. Oh dear, no, not like this. Expendables. Now they smell blood. They're hunting.
Oh no!
Circling him. Yeah, they're definitely gonna get it. And 100p, you did all that good work, just for it to crumble. The round that should have been the easiest for them to put away. They had everything. They had the rifles. Granted, an AK-47 on Derek, but even after that opener, just do your due diligence, right? Use the utility, but no, they walk out middle dry, no utility whatsoever, no smokes, no flashes, no molotovs, even a connector, right? They're just walking up silently, and if you run into a stack, then that's what's going to happen. But that's why you purchase some utility, my friends.
That's how you get the molotovs. I mean, this round, no molotovs, they're just full sending it through unders. Chulo, happy to fight out for at least one. Might want more, and he does want more. He's very greedy today, but he's got Pro with him, who may just come out to be a bit stronger as well. Darkest a bit late, so he's going to be rewarded at least with a single kill, but the problem is 1 on 3, AK retrieved.
should have this every day of the week, and he does. Expendables are now up to 9, reducing the score deficit to just the 1 and 100p. That was the false buy, so now they're gonna have very little to work with. Maybe Darkest can get out Deagle, maybe drop one over to his teammates as well, but that should be everything that they have. Whereas for Expendables, AWP out for Aziz as well.
I'd like to see, instead of going for that armor and Deagle, maybe a bit more utility next time.
Yeah.
It is one of those rounds where, if for Expendables, so they go all Deagles, I'm like, yeah, these guys are cracked enough to hit their shots, so I'm not going to ever complain about them not bringing utility. It's like arguing why Astralis are not bringing utility. Darkest can just take out the orb like that. Why not?
Well, I mean, thing is though, they can still retrieve the orb, right, for the CT side. It's not as though it's been handed, it's not been handed over to 100p. Oh, and I think it's close enough, but of course they want to fight it out with just the rifles first. And now Potato, 1 HP. Might want to, perhaps if he can get his hands on the orb and throw it out the map, but yeah, as you can see, very easily retrievable. Therefore, Expendables, 100p. Unable to do too much damage. Not even forcing out the AWP rebuy, right? Instead, Expendables, all they have to do, reimburse $3,100, get back the M4, and then, there we go. So, 100p, need this round to count, right? Because if Expendables take the lead here, I think they might as well just start running away with it, right? They would go up against another half buy, and then that's where they can start stretching their legs. Early presence in the connector, possibly a boost up for short, perhaps? I think it seems like it. And aggression out towards Monster yet again. Derek 9, not needing the score of the AWP, but knows he's playing with fire at the moment.
Should be fine though, there's plenty of utility, has teammates over there as well. Very difficult to flush a CT out, unless you get a nice blind shot through. Darkest as well, nice timing. So this is already a really good start for 100 ping. So just like that, actually, it doesn't resolve in their favor. That one-on-one duel though, maybe not ideal, because that gives Pro a lot of information, a lot of position to work with as well. And, well, 100 ping, they take this advantage, they give it back. They go, we don't want it. You guys can have it back.
Yeah. And it's come back for free, right? It's just two players just lurking out and taking a duel when they absolutely don't have to. Right, this is the difference, right? You look at a team, you look at teams that are doing well now. Look at Brothers Pro, right? They find the opener and then they just go silent. They don't peek you across the map. But instead, what the 100p are doing at the moment, they're finding their advantages, and then they're saying, you know what? Put it on a silver platter for you. The AWP's on B. Let's just peek in. Let's feed the beast.
This is where I'd like to see a few flashbangs, maybe a couple of smoke grenades. Otherwise, it's going to be a shooting gallery at this stage. Is Pro even needed? He throws a nade. Okay, it looks like he is needed at the end of the day because AZ can only buy so much time. As Pro decides to completely disregard the orb.
Yeah. I mean, they have the money, so, well.
You can't buy an AK. I guess that's the theory behind it, right?
Yeah. 100p. Need a couple of bits and pieces of utility, right? Just 2 flashes at the moment, it's not gonna be enough. And a smoke on Potato as well. Maybe a fast B execute, who knows? Yeah. And Expendables starting fast out towards middle, but yeah, 100p, they're gonna fight fire with fire. All 5 members coming into this part of the map, and they had one smoke, and they used it to extinguish the incendiary Puppy Chulo. Spoke about it, very, very greedy, and offers up the AK, but he's got a teammate in supporting connector. Oh no! 100p, they do manage to find equal footing, although last remaining players have combined health of 8.
But you got to look at the weapons they're against. They're up against an AWP on AZ, and they're up against the Scar 20 of Derek, who I would say that, yeah, B-site's under lockdown unless you hit a fantastic shot. You have to hit a phenomenal shot to get rid of something like that. AZ is just a case of timing. If 100 ping can actually find the timing of the AK, slided really good shot in, this is going to be all so much more doable for them to cause the upset victory. They just miss even a little bit of the window of timing. They peek out the wrong time. It's going to be AZ any day of the week that picks up the kill, and it looks like they might be coming straight towards that. AZ coming back in. Yeah.
It has to fall back, right? But you notice that the AWP is good for 1 and can hold the angle once again. Yeah. pretty easy, all things considered, for Expendables. A little bit expensive, and they do lose the AKs. 100p, I guess they won't be too disappointed with themselves for that one, but I'm not a huge fan, right? You can see, just severe lack of utility, even though they had the full loss bonus, even though they had gotten the pistols out.
They did the right thing though with a half buy. So it's for me, I don't mind if you go for the half buy and you have like 2 sets of utility. As long as you have a bit of a game plan of what you're trying to achieve with that utility, it's a lot better than just buying 5 Deagles and going fight for your right to kind of play in the next round with guns.
Well, early shot presence established by the P side now, as Azzy's characteristic miss, but follows it up with an accurate one onto Potato. Just over-facing him at the moment, 100p, right? You spawn him out towards Monster, and then the immediate response should be, right, let's just hide. We know the ops on B now, which should suggest that towards A is going to be a much weaker defense. But instead, it seemed as though they might have been intending a B execute right off spawn.
It's so hard on the T side where you go, oh, we know the AWP's on B, then we have to go hit A, because there's so much dangerous territory. They could be running a double AWP. They don't know what weapon Derek's using at this point in time, so you need to clear out toilets. There could be a rifle that's lurking there. There could be a rifle that's pushed up, and that's why 100 ping are kind of frozen in stasis at the moment. You can't really push through unders. You're gonna have to utilize a lot of utility or manpower to really clear it. You can see they're just hoping that maybe Expendables gets a little bit over-aggressive and maybe make a bit of a weird play. Just like that, though. Nice couple of entries over at short to punish. Maybe Expendables playing a little bit too far up, and they're on a 3-on-2 post-plan.
And the Scar, 5 to 10 seconds into the retake, he should be pretty much nullified already. It's going to be difficult for him to find a couple of frags. Pro using his bulk of utility, and a secure shot for now. Now the weapon's been given up, has been showcased. Although 100p, they've got a lot of decent positioning. And yeah, swinging off each other, working for the trade. So good fundamentals still at the end of the day for 100p, as they are able to steal around back. So despite going a man to the good, well, Expendables played a bit too far forward, and I think they got caught square in the face by the flashbang coming off the side of 100p. So you see that round had a B execute written all over it. But maybe this is where 100p, they need to show us that they can do a decent default, right? Because otherwise, if it's just going to be execute heavy into its B, then there's a very easy solution to that if you're Expendables. So let's see if 100p, they're going to go back to what's tried and tested, or are they going to switch things up? So Smoke will not extinguish the Molotov, and because of that, they are stuck behind it. But they're still going to be taking shot control.
I think you touched on that point as well. I don't like seeing this every single time, because you're relying on taking short control like this. You're utilizing a lot of utility. The only problem for Expendables is that they don't have retake utility. In this case, if you had maybe an incendiary grenade, maybe even a HE, it would have been fantastic, because you can just flash your way back in. You can really take down these players before they get comfortable in the setup. They are going to be executing in once again, trying the same old thing.
This time, they find yet another opener, but Pro though up close and personal in the smoke. And going up to the elevated position, we'll be able to shut it down with micro Expendables. Well, fool me once, I guess. Shame on me, but fool me twice. Wait, how's the saying go?
Fool me once, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. So no shame for Expendables this time around. I was thinking this is... we saw that pattern emerge in Mirage where as soon as something didn't work or something did work for 100 ping, they tried it once again. Or they try it, or they try to utilize it because that's the only way they've really succeeded. And that's what I mean by gimmicky rounds. You can get away with it once, but you can't do it the second time, because the CT side's going to be prepared for it. You can see smoke dropped over towards Toxic. There's disruption. They're playing behind the smokes this time around.
Oh.
The fact they're still committing for this, I'm just going, what is that nade coming out from Derek?
I think he wanted to blow open the connector door, but maybe accidentally holding down mouse 1 and 2, and the B is back to B, they go 100p. Changing up the timing this time, the utility being thrown a little bit later as opposed to preempting it. But 100p still end up coming up short. Although Darkest is in a decent enough position for the 1 versus 2, right? But he's got such little information to work with. Knows that the 2 players were likely to come from A, but what does he have to go off the back of this? It could be a flank from Connector, it could be a play in CT, and perhaps he wants to go all the way back up to A, but Puppy Chulo, he's none the wiser to this.
Just patience from both sides. It's going to be about probably at 0-40. That's where AZ is going to take his attention off Heaven. He's going to start looking maybe at the flank. I wouldn't mind both CTs actually just chilling over here and just waiting at this stage. You can see Papachula, all he needs to do is just actually wait for the aggression. Movement's baited out. This play coming out from Darkus, and Papachulo will win this one this time around. Papachulo not going to go overly aggressive. And Expendables going to be rewarded with, once again, another round. I'm pleased 100 ping, stop going towards short. It worked once, doesn't mean it's going to keep working.
Yeah, it's just B play after B play after B play, right? It's nothing too, you know, it's not even complicated. It's just that they need a certain degree of variance as to their strat, because otherwise, Expendables 100p just gonna be an open book for you, right? And guess what? It's another heavy B lead, and Darkus was considering the connector lurk, but it's come back now to join his team. Backup shot they go. No Molotov this time because Derek's playing up close, holding down the spray, can get himself out now, I suppose. Yeah, they're trying to hunt him, and he does fall, but Micro is there by covering fire. Maybe ends up blocking his teammate there as well, sending Derek 9 to the Wolves, but, well, they still come out on top of the opening engagements.
I honestly think this is the beginning of the end at the moment. They're just driving it into B. It's now going to be this contact play, which is the right thing to do. HE grenade does find a bit of damage.
Let's play in water, and Potato with a good opener. They know there's another player in towards CT, and in fact, they will be able to collect him. Papichulo and Aziz once again needing to pull off the retake. But this time, under very different circumstances. The 3Ts have enough time to plant themselves on the site. Terry's got himself back into short waters. That's Papichulo in a pretty difficult 1-on-3. I don't think he should go for this, but given the scoreline, given the confidence, he might just stick his head around.
I mean, it's still close enough where you definitely want to be taking this very, very carefully right now for Papachulo, because that M4 could be pretty influential in the next one. There's no loss bonus for the Expendables. That's a big thing to note right now. For 100 ping, all you really need to do is maybe 1 or 2 more rounds and you're rewarding yourself with some success. Yeah, and this is a difficult scenario now for the Expendables, actually, because you're looking at your money. It's a bit cooked across the board because some of them have been very, very close thanks to 100 ping actually making it competitive. So the decision here is you can go for an AWP. No armor, so it's going to be a glass cannon. You can go for a few pistols, but it does mean that you're not going to be buying up until potentially 14-14 again. You're going to go for the half-buy route. So, a bit of weaponry, but like I said, if this goes astray,
And
it's going to be back to the drawing board.
yeah, to boost up, knowing that they've got inferior weaponry, I think Papichulo will find the opener, yeah, and that's exactly what you want to see coming out from Expendables or on an Eagle, right? Throwing a bit of those gimmicky plays, right? You can't do that all the time, but when you, if it's as sparse as we see it coming out from the side of Expendables, it's definitely going to catch your opponents off guard, and works out in spades. Now, try contacting into B. Terry, because the rotates are starting to arrive, and as these, oh dear, 5-on-3 now. 100p, they've only got Monster to come out, and he's got himself stuck into the sandbags position, lines up to round over. Calling it.
Although Darkus pulls something out, he's been playing he's been playing phenomenally so far on Overpass, but I feel like this is maybe a step too far at this stage. Can spot the head of Derek, firing a couple of warning shots to heaven. Draws out the peek from AZ, but the problem is there's so many people peeking him. And it's going to be Papachulo that finds the peak to bring Expendables up to match point. This is not how you wanted things to go for 100 ping. At the very least, they've got weapons to play with. They have money, which is a good thing. It's not going to be a death by 1,000 blows because they only have Glocks. They only have to go down to P250s. They've got a good chance to fight for survival. The problem is, though, that round was so convincing for the Expendables. They pretty much got upgrades all across the board. Now they've got money as well on that CT side to make sure that this doesn't go into overtime.
Deuce is still 100p. The better off play against rifles than they are against pistols. They just can't handle an Eagles, and this time missing a couple of smokes. And Banana's gonna take a bit of damage because of that. But some semblance of a default for once. So a couple of players out in towards Fountain. They spot out the AWP, and Aziz will miss a shot. And 3 players towards A at the moment for Expendables as 100p. They double smoke the toilets.
Either double smoker on HE as well. Either way.
Not a lot left to work with though, so they need to be a bit more conservative. Potato, that opener's gonna relieve a lot of pressure, right? And because of that, I think, yeah, they're gonna start accelerating towards that A side just as the smoke fades. as he finds Banana. Do they account for the second player up into a slow? No, they don't. Pro gets one. They need to trade it. Duck is too far apart from Justin. And now it's up to Terry and Duckis to close things out for 100p if they want to take us to overtime. Make that just Terry.
Yeah, Terry's in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
He was lurking around while the rest of the execute's happening, and now on the late lurk, it might work if it was 5 seconds away, but you can already see Expendables probably aware of this danger. They're already starting to have a player that's tending over towards bank and jump up. So at this stage, surprised no one, as you say, have done a smooth, just getting disconnected for 100 ping. It's looking pretty dire, but they're still backing the boy Terry to be in it. Find the timing on one. No, you can't even find it on a micro, which means that Expendables will take over past 16 to 12. A lot closer than Mirage, you have to say, and much better showing from 100 ping. But at the end of the day, they will be facing off against Huatsai in that 3rd place match, whereas the Expendables going on to the grand finals up against Sigma. And you have to say, well, we expected that victory.